Hey guys, welcome to my new project that I'm going to do here. Soul Blazer, also made by Enix. In a way, it's pretty much, I would consider it a spiritual sequel to ActRaiser. It's a lot alike, even though it does kind of belong to its own series that this game happens to be the first of. I'll talk about that later, but in a lot of ways, it's a lot like ActRaiser. So we will go and choose a spot here, and you can tell it already looks kind of a lot alike. Only there's a leveling system in this game too, but it's more hands-on, I suppose you could say. This is the master talking to us, just like we were playing as him in ActRaiser. We just play as an underling, so to speak. I'll go ahead and name myself what I would normally name myself. What an interesting name. That's odd. You wouldn't write all right with two L's. But alright, so basically you'll have one of these little sanctuary areas in every area you go to. If you go up here, you can save, and other things will come available later. And then you go over here and you will be in the first area. So you open this chest and you're like, oh, there's a sword. Oh, I haven't played this in a while, so. Then you go in here and you equip your weapon. Wow. And the obvious difference in this one from ActRaiser is that ActRaiser was side-scrolling, this is top-down. So basically you can see that's obviously some sort of monster lair. Just kill them until it stops dropping monsters. And I'll explain some of the stuff later, but... we used to live in the sky, apparently. Death Toll. Just kind of essentially like Tanzra in the first game. Well, in ActRaiser. I don't want to call it the first game because they're not actually sequels. Just like a spiritual sequel. Flameball magic. Yeah, basically he's with you for the entire game. He is the reason you can use magic. And this is what he is. He's a little orb sprite thing. I could go equip our magic, but again, magic in this game is not nearly as just broken as it is in ActRaiser. It's useful, don't get me wrong. Very useful in some cases, but you can't just break the game with it. And here we are in Grass Valley. The first area. And essentially this is a lot like what you do in ActRaiser. Only in ActRaiser you do it all in one chunk. You just fight one little stage event, one action stage where it's with enemies, and then everything, you're able to build everything. But here you have to, you bring people back to life one monster's lair at a time. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but... to the underground castle, I suppose. Sweet. And we can talk to flowers and all kinds of shit like that. So, and we go in here and it's the first dungeon. And like I was saying, the monsters move in a set pattern. So you can find certain places to stand where they just can't hit you. There's like this. You just wait for them to come to you. They can't hit you. because they can only move in, like, stand up here, and they have to walk out straight, and then they die by the time they even get a chance to turn. So, you pretty much almost have to do this later in the game. The enemies are so tough that you have to manipulate their incapable of movingness. But we released an old woman. And not just an old woman, but an entire house. So, I mean, realistically, you could go back, like, after you unlocked, if you released everything. Because they will tell you different stuff, and they'll sometimes give you stuff, but realistically, you only have to go back a few times after once you've gotten to points where you can't progress. What the heck are you doing? You are not following a standard pattern there. Oh, took damage. But yeah, you don't start out with nearly as much health as you do in ActRaiser. But again, it's more standard action RPG fare, whereas these guys all give you experience. And you will level up, obviously, as you would do in any game. Medical herb. Oh, that's your magic, by the way. They're full of fireball magic. Sometimes useful when, you can't get to some guy and you don't want to deal with... I'll be using it later in this area. Come down here, you whore. This guy is just a pain. Now you want to come down here. A lot of guys in this one. Ah, damn. Yep. It's weird how they always have, why they say all right with two L's. I've never seen that before. Translation error, I'm sure, but... Yeah, and these little gems have, like, fairies in them. They'll give you advice. Well, how could I not do the... No, and they also can teleport you back to Grass Valley if you want. Which I'll be using, obviously. At different points. You can kill these things. I'm gonna wait till it shoots before I go through and try and kill it. Probably should just use that freaking medical herb, but I'm hoping I can get... Oh, crap. Ah, damn it. I was gonna say, I was hoping I could level up and... Really isn't too big of a penalty for dying. I mean, yeah, you lose where you were in the dungeon, and that can become annoying later, but you don't lose any progress you made. I think it might half your... Yeah, I think it completely lose all of the gems you had, which does suck later in the game when you have a ton of them. But for now, not a big deal. See, all the monster slayers we've already taken out are still gone. We don't lose any of that progress. Kind of sad to be dying in the first episode, but I'm just being careless, really. I'm a little reckless when I play games like this. Might try to be better for the purposes of this LP, but we'll see. And the music in this game, it's good, but it's not great. It's not like Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma, which are... I haven't mentioned that yet, but those are the other two games in the series that come after this. And we gotta make another house. Yeah, it's always funny how they say you release the person, but yet at the same time releasing their, like, entire house. I'll mention the fact that you released their whole house, just so that you released the person. I always found that kind of humorous. Dang it, why do I keep doing that? Anyways, as I was saying, that this game has essentially 2 sequels. Illusion of Gaia. They're all for the Super NES. Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma. We never got Terranigma in America. It got released in Europe, but not in America. One of the few times that's happened. So you can play it relatively easily because it's already translated to English. So, you can find a ROM of it out there and play it. Oh, that's totally important. Probably, yeah. That's obviously important. You need that elevator. It's one of the times you have to go back once you've done that. Oh, these guys. They're balls. They're balls. Wasn't the best description I could have given for that, but I suppose they are balls, in a way. Releasing all the peoples. And the bridge, not just the bridge card. I know. I'll probably stop saying that eventually. Stop saying about how they obviously do more than just release the bridge guard. But, and we leveled up. Now we do more damage with our attacks. And our health gets refilled. All good stuff. And this is like one example of where I might use magic. Just because that way you don't have to deal with, like, you can take them out. And the interesting thing here is if you're pressed up against something, you can you can walk towards it, and your magician orb thingy-majigger will keep going ahead of you, even though you can't go ahead. So it's very useful to hit things that are in enclosed spaces like that. Ooh, big gem. Yeah, this would be super easy if it wasn't for that freaking torch up there shooting at us. These guys can't do shit. I think if I hit that, that opens up this area in here, so I'm gonna kill these guys first. No, there's one more. Oh well, I can kill one. Ain't no thing. Yay. No, this is Ivy. Yep. Yeah, this is a great little game. Like I said, the music is okay, but it's not great. But it's very fun. There's all kinds of this. It's a very fun game. Kind of dungeon crawler-y-ish. But there's an interesting story in it too. And lots of variance in the areas you get to go to and things you can do. Lots of secrets. Well, not lots of secrets, but a decent amount, let's say. That you just kind of have to find. Hey, the watermill keeper that we were told is important. And this is the point where we pretty much are stuck. Because we need to go up on that elevator right there. And in order to go up on that elevator, we need to start the watermill. So they give you a nice little way back. Because there's nothing you can do in here anymore right now. So, out we go. And then we can check out on all the new shit that's appeared in town.